welcome back to another beautiful episode of Podcast by Buddha. Thank you so much for regularly visiting our page, and all your comments really make us feel that we're doing something right. Thank you, keep them coming, and with that in mind, let me tell you, this time we have an episode which talks about a pet parent only giving and giving time, love, emotions, affection to the pet, which is good, as we discussed earlier. But what repercussions does it have? How does that actually change the pet's behavior? I may not be the right person, as I always say. So, to detail this, we are more than happy to welcome one of our esteemed guests, Rochelle, who's here to talk about her side of the story. So, hi, Rochelle.
Hi.
I would say welcome to Podcast by Buddha. Thank you so much for taking time
Thank you for
coming
having
down
us.
here. We would love to know a little bit about the entire journey and the story. But before that, we would love to know a little bit more about you. If you can just brief us a little about you.
I'm a single mother to a multi-poo called Miss Franky. I also do work with humans. I'm a celebrity hairdresser. I've been in Dubai for coming up to 6 years.
Wow.
Originally
Okay.
from the UK, but I do class Dubai as home. Hence why I got my child, and we're going to raise her here. And I'm just me.
Wow.
Just love life.
Perfect. And about Franky, what made you think about getting a pet or getting a puppy for that matter?
So, Miss Franky originally entered my life. I'm actually a godmother to a cavapoo and a toy poodle called Glitter and Sparkles, who had to relocate back to the UK. And it broke my heart.
Uh-oh.
Broke my heart. Also, another heartbreak. And I was like, I feel like I'm ready for a new chapter. And I missed Glitter and Sparkles so much. Like I felt empty. And I grew up with Labradors in the UK.
Okay.
But I was like, can I take on this responsibility of being like a single mother? And people do say I do take it to the extreme.
Yes.
But she is my everything. And
Wow.
I went to see other puppies before, but I didn't have that initial connection. I was like, you know when they say you found the one?
Yes.
Well, when I found Miss Franky, that was it. I was like, I couldn't stop crying. Couldn't stop crying. And then, I picked her up New Year's Day. And it's been the
Perfect
best time.
date to start a new
New
relationship.
chapter.
But yeah, as in I keep hearing the name Franky. I would love to ask you again, why the name Franky? How did that come from?
So, I've always wanted a St. Bernard called Frank. However, I am in a corner unit apartment. There's no way. And also we live in Dubai. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have access to a pool 24/7. And I was like, once I get my villa in Jumeirah Islands, which we are manifesting, she will have a brother. I was like, Frank. I was like, Miss Franky. And it just stuck.
It just stuck. Nice.
Yeah, Miss Franky Franks.
So, how long is Miss Franky with you now?
She is coming up to, oh my God, I feel like she's been in my heart forever, to be honest. But I picked up New Year's Day, and what we on?
This New Year, you mean?
Yeah.
So we're talking 9 months.
9
approximately
months.
9 months plus 10 months to be precise. So I'm sure that the journey, the emotional side of it, you did describe the way you got Miss Franky. But how was the start of the relationship? Say Jan, Feb, March. How was it?
I never had to raise anyone apart from myself. So truthfully, never knew the extent of anxiety because I had this little soul that was solely dependent on me. And when I left her to say to go to the gym, and like it was like an hour and a half, you can even ask my trainer, I had on the camera and I suffered, even when I was physically working as well, with separation anxiety. And I was like, I just panicked 24/7, to be honest, about her. And I remember the first couple of nights I got her home, I didn't sleep. My hand was on her belly, making sure she was breathing. And It's been a mixture, like from going to be so tense, like no one can touch her. She's got to be in a gold box, basically.
Okay.
And then now I've got more lenient, as in she goes to school. Like she goes to school, she interacts with other dogs, and I have to say she is the sassiest, but she's mine. And it has been like sometimes I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes I just look at her and I just cry because I've never felt love like it. And I'm like, I get teary now, but...
So it's true when they say that, they love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
True. But was she the best pet right from day one? Well behaved and the best?
I needed butter, like from day one. It was, as I say, I'd never had to raise anything apart from myself. And I let her have free will. Truthfully, I thought I wanted to have the best life. I've probably got about 16 years with her, and I want every day to be the best one for her. So I was just like treating her as a spoiled little madam, shall we say. And
so how did that freedom, or the loose leash of life that she had, how did that affect you emotionally or mentally?
Emotionally, I was looking at her thinking, I've got a wild child. What am I going to do? Physically, I'd be like, I need to tire her out some more. But it was when we'd play with the ball. And as I say, I'm in an apartment. And my neighbour knocked. And she was like, Rochelle, we have a good relationship. But she was like, Rochelle, I hate to do this. She said, but I can hear Franky barking. And the last thing you want to do is upset your neighbours.
Yeah, true that. Yes.
So I started, I was like, I don't need any noise complaints. Do you know what I mean? So I started to research dog trainers, and I even downloaded apps, and I just thought, I haven't got the strength inside me to tell her no.
Okay.
It sounds crazy, but I was like, this little face just looking at me like... And I was going through many Facebook posts, like groups on, like, say, dogs in Dubai and things, and like the women's groups in the UAE. And Buddha was recommended many times.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, he knows his worth. I'm going to pay the price. And then dropped a message, and I was like, hi, friends. And he turned up at my apartment.
Wow, really? Awesome. Yeah. So now I will love to go back to Buddha, as in that's the first side of the story. Okay, emotional attachment, emotional need, the pup's home, and then the pup's on a very loose leash. And that's how they come to you. What was your first reaction looking at Miss Franky?
So in scenarios like this, I hate to be the bearer of the bad news.
Okay.
So this has happened with her also. So what I said to her was, she had a lot of emotional gaps in her.
Okay.
She got a dog to fill that emotional gap.
Okay.
But unfortunately, Miss Franky has nothing to do with
that gap.
Right? So she got this basically identity, as I say, animal, a dog and a breed. So she got this dog into her house and suddenly started treating her even worse than a human child. Because this had a discussion that had happened with her. Because what happens is we say, oh, she is my human kid, like my child. But if you raise a human child, you will teach that child what is the boundaries of living in a human environment. So I am seeing this naughty, wild brat in the house barking away to glory. So that's what when I entered her house, she was going wild at that time.
Okay.
But eventually what happened is over the course of our session, she actually realized what was going wrong. And I just had to fix that relationship, and this is like Miss Franky right now, calmly sitting down with us.
Trust me, as in when I saw Franky from the time till now, it's hard for me to even think that, this was the naughty child we are all talking about.
That was the conversation with her. She has done an amazing job with her.
Wow.
It's about... No, see, I guide. my job is to guide.
Okay.
That's the max I can do, because my success is never the dog behaving with me. My
Okay.
success is your dog behaving with you, right?
I get it,
so
yes.
maybe 40% of my work is with the animal. The 60% is fixing the relationship.
And we did that.
Yeah.
We
And
did
when I
that.
went to her house, Frankie was ruling the house.
Oh, wow.
And the entire discussions on human bad behavior was not a bad behavior from Frankie. Because Frankie was ruling
was
the
given
house,
that rule. Yeah.
she is just behaving as a dog, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
So that was the whole problem.
So how many sessions did it take for you to, get a grip on, Miss
I
Franky's
think she will
attitude?
be the better person to
I would
answer.
love to know that. How many
Truthfully.
sessions?
Just one.
No ways.
One session, yeah.
Just one session.
One session. And Franky was, oh, you know what? Right time to point this. Is this what they call the Buddha magic? they keep
Okay,
asking.
I'll be upfront and frank with you. See, I have got 100% success. I have got 100% failures. So what happens is, if people get the concept, one session is more than enough. But if you don't get the concept, I'll be coming there
Over and over
time
again.
after
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
We will be discussing stuff. When I leave, things goes back to what it was. Dog goes back to what it was. So she actually put in that amount of effort which brought the change. Which from, so I want to kind of brush into one more point here. So initially what she thought was love from her, Frankie was treating her as a playmate. There was no respect. She was her playmate. So
Okay.
Frankie will decide the things. So when that relationship was switched, Frankie is fine. And temperament wise, she's a little bit of underconfident dog.
Okay.
So she was always looking for a sense of direction. She needs somebody to give her a sense of, what should I do?
Okay.
So when that happened, she automatically calmed down because, okay, I just need to follow. I don't need to
Wow.
make choices, because she's living in an environment which practically she doesn't understand.
So
Simple.
this entire explanation to Miss Franky just happened in one session.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
what I
that's-
do is, when I do go for a session, number one, I do assessment of
Okay.
both the dog's temperament and their lifestyle.
Okay.
Because every dog is different. Every lifestyle is different.
Yes.
And that has to be integrated. Like if you bring a dog, you have a different lifestyle. Dog will have to adapt to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Second is, I give a general briefing of encouraging good behaviors, or I say behaviors which you want. I don't use the term good and bad behavior, because from a dog's point of view, there's no
There
good
is
and
no bad.
Exactly. Then, based on the assessment and the lifestyle, I basically put into a routine which changes the whole relationship in that house. And since she was young, and Rochelle put all the effort into it, that's one session was more enough.
So after that I'm saying first session. No, after that one session, was Franky, fixed, as you say?
No.
Or there was much more follow-ups supposed to be done by
there was a
Rochelle?
constant back and forth over the WhatsApp and everything.
Okay.
So there's a routine, a daily routine which we plan. It's okay. So the thing was, so there's a constant back and forth over the WhatsApp and phone calls and stuff. We were implementing a routine. So it took maybe a month plus to reach where she wanted to be.
Okay. So that 1 month of that transition, Rochelle, were you able to see gradual changes in the behavior?
Yeah, truthfully, it was more, I had to be firm.
Okay.
And it was being firm with Frankie as well. And the changes that I found, even like the little things that you taught me, like say on the leash, I was like, Frankie, you're like a new child. Like you actually, do you know, I found like she does know I'm the boss now.
Okay.
And she respects me. I mean, don't get me wrong, she still has like her naughty days where...
Animal.
I'm like,
As I say, animal will be an animal, yes.
but no, it really did change.
Right.
Like-
So if I may have to ask you something specific, like how was it before? Like a particular behavior, how was it before and how was it after that 1 month of guidance?
So before, truthfully, it was a riot.
Okay.
It was an absolute riot.
We could not have this session. She will not sit like this.
Really?
No. No way.
Like, for example, if she's home, you're home, and somebody rings the doorbell, what's...
Someone rings the doorbell, that is it. It sounds like I have got my St. Bernard in the apartment. Like,
Ooh,
it
okay.
was... I
There's
used to
noise
think...
all over.
I mean, I used to have this thing. We've got a child that lives on the same floor, so I used to think, I used to get my rehearsal ready, being like, if anyone complained, I'd be like, you have to complain about the actual human child as well. But then I was like, actually, it's not very fair, is it? I was like...
Okay. So, and how is it now? If you both are home and somebody rings the doorbell, what happens now?
So if I don't truthfully answer within like 2 minutes or so, say I'm on the balcony, she will bark to get attention. But when I do open the door, she'll sit down and she'll assess who it is.
Wow.
So to add to that session, and what changed was when I basically went and spoke to her, she was very clear on the what dog should not do.
Okay.
And my assessment of Franky was Franky had no clue what she's supposed to do.
I feel bad now. I do.
So
Yeah.
it's just fixing that because she gave me, okay, I'm having these problems. I'm not able to fix it. She's going crazy. That's what no, these problems are because she never knew what she was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So when she knew what she was supposed to do, she's just following those things. It's easy.
Yeah.
Sounds easy when you say it. Yeah, I know, but
Yeah,
I know
it requires
what
effort,
Franky would have gone through.
Yeah.
But seriously, it is hard for me still to believe, this is the same Franky that we're talking about. She's been sweet, she's been calm, enjoying the camera, the limelight, everything perfect. Okay, and any other behavioral changes that you found in Franky after the session, or now that we are 9 months into this, after the session's over, is it still ingrained in her, or there is still a constant follow-up needed from your end? As you said that she does have a
The
few naughty days in
yeah,
between.
and that's truthfully where I've got lax and just being
Okay.
like, say I've been to brunch the day before and I'm feeling a little bit sorry for myself and I'm just like, oh, Franky, do what you want. Then I have to remember your instructions and I have
Yeah.
to snap back and be like, come
Okay.
on, I am still the boss.
So just a question to you, like, if this naughty days per se, this increases in frequency, is there a possibility that, Franky goes back to the older self?
Of course. See, dogs as such are like kids who never grows. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If your kid starts keeping leg on the table, now how many times that kid keeps, you'll say, please put your foot down.
Correct.
That's exactly what she needs to be doing with Miss Franky. Just tell her what you're supposed to do. Relax.
Okay, now that part is clear now. So yeah, that's again, I think, a piece of advice to you as well, that if the naughty days increases for Miss Franky, so there is a possibility that, the animal would go back to the initial behavior. So as a pet parent, I think it is like a constant lifelong duty to keep sure that, whatever guidance that we've got has to be followed. Yeah. All right, so as you heard, this is not an isolated case for sure again. This is a classic case of when you put too much of emotions, get a pet, and then things change or things don't actually seem the way you thought about. But yes, again, thanks to Buddha in the Buddha land, that things are fixed. Miss Franky is living one of the best lives that she has, and keeping that in mind that as a pet parent, guidance is forever. It's just not that 1 month training, the pet's fine, and then you take a back seat. No, the guidance is for life. Keep that up. And till the next episode, stay tuned. Have a beautiful relationship with your pet. This is Podcast by Buddha. Thank you.